In this video, we're going to look at what would be a function from a table. So trying to look at this table and decide if there's a way we can arrange it to call it a function. Which one would we have to call the input? Which one would have to be the output? So how we decipher this is we want to remember the output is a function of the input, is how it's said. Now, normally with x's and y's, output is y. It's the dependent variable, and that depends on the input, x. That's the independent one. So, if it's a function, each x goes to one y. Remember, each x goes to one y. Your x is just obsessed with y, you, if it's really a function. So we have, is y a function of d? So the whatever variable is given first is the output. This one's capital Y. It's different than our X and Y, those general letters. We have capital Y and capital D for this one. So is Y a function of D, being the input? Well, the only way to figure that out is to figure out, does each D go to exactly one Y? So if we arrange it that way, we can think about these as ordered pairs. So this first ordered pair would be 2.25 is the input, and you get out 1990. Okay, so far that only goes to one y value. That looks like a function. Next x value or independent input, that d is 2.40, and it goes to 1991. Next one is 2.75. You plug that in, and your output that you get is 1992. And then last one, we have 2.40 goes to 1993. So looking at that list of x's to y's, of inputs to outputs, here they're called capital D, capital Y. So the question is, does each input go to one output? Well, 225 goes to 1990. That's good. I don't see 225 going to anything else. But 240 is going to 1991 and 1993. So this is not a function, because the input 2.40 goes to two outputs. Those being 1991 and 1993. And that's not allowed. Each x can only go to one y. Each input only can have one output. So that way of saying it is not going to be a function. If we change how we say it, and we say, is d a function of y? Does that make it a function? Well, let's see. Is d a function of y? Is the output a function of the input? So now we're plugging in y's and getting out d's. So we're going to plug in 1990 and get out 225. That looks good. 1991 is getting out 240. So far we're okay. Each input is only going to one output. My next input is 1992, and that's going to 275. And then the last one, 1993, is going to 240. So each input, does it go to exactly one output? My first input goes to one number. My second input is different, goes to a number. My third input is different, goes to a number. My fourth input goes to a number. So these inputs have exactly one output. Yes, two of them have the same y value, but that's two different x's going to one y value. So there's no rule that says each y has to belong to one x. It's just, does each x go to exactly one y value? 1990 goes to exactly 2.25, 1991 goes to exactly 240, 1992 goes to exactly 275, 1993 goes to exactly 240. So this is a function. Each y, those capital Y's, goes to exactly one capital D. Each input goes to exactly one output.